Good evening, everyone. I'm going to just get a couple of things going over here. Open this up so maybe... I'm going to just get a couple of things... Get a little flashback there. Hopefully I can see the comments. We'll see how that works. All right, good Sunday evening. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Tara with Tara Beth Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in mid-Missouri, and I am doing a fun fold tonight. And I thank you for joining me. If you're on, give me a shout out. Hopefully I can start seeing those comments roll through. Let me know where you're at. Hey, Angie, thanks for joining. Hey, Susan, thanks for joining. So this is the fun fold that we're doing. We're going to use a stamp set that's in the annual catalog, but has a Christmas theme. It is the, hey Karen, thanks for joining. So this is the Trimming the Tree stamp set. And sorry, that light is kind of blinding there. So Trimming the Tree stamp set. And of course, I'm going to use that Framed and Festive stamp set that's available just for a short time. Great for Christmas cards. I love every sentiment. The font is chunky and easy to read. I love this. So this is a great pairing. And this is the card that I make. Let me set these out of the way. This is the card that I made. It's a fun fold. And so it's got a top layer with a small sentiment. Then you can open up to the main center. So I've used those fabulous frame dies. Let me grab those real quick. I want to show you. So this is the fabulous frame die set. This is a standalone die set that's available in the annual catalog. It is pretty awesome. I haven't used it much, but it's got beautiful trim on everything. And it also has these beautiful corners that just make beautiful etching that give a really elegant look when you pair it with the gold foil like I did for this one. So that's available in the annual catalog. So that'll be around for a while. So let's get started on today's card. Okay, so basically let's start with a little bit of stamping first. So what I have is I have the inside that I cut with some Very Vanilla, and I just use that inside frame. So I cut this with Very Vanilla. I use this die cut for some Very Vanilla as well as the gold foil. So I've done all of that ahead of time. And so this is going to create our Christmas tree. The Christmas tree is a little bit larger than the die cut allows, but I'm just going to stamp it off a little bit. And I just re-inked this so it's nice and juicy. Hopefully not too juicy. Okay, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to line it up. And as you can tell, I don't know if you can tell or not, but you'll definitely be able to tell once I'm done. I've got tree hanging off of the bottom, and that's okay. Yeah, see, we've got ink down here. That's okay. I just wanted to make sure we had a little bit up at the top, but it went all the way down. So I'm going to set that out of the way. I'm going to bring in some soft succulent ink and ink that up well. And this is one of those two-step stamps. I'm not using my Stamparatus like I normally would a two-step stamp. This one I'm just kind of eyeballing it because it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so that gives you those two different colors of green popping out on your tree. I'm going to set the soft succulent aside because we don't need that one again. And I'm going to set that aside to dry a little bit. I also cut a piece of Very Vanilla with these stylish shape dies. This is the second largest that I used, and I'm going to use that for the From Our Home to Yours. This is going to go on that second layer. Ooh, I inked that up way too much. Ooh, hopefully we don't get a halo. Ooh, perfect. All right. And then let's see what the inside looks like. May the seasons be bright, and we're going to do that tree again. So I'm going to bring out another piece of Very Vanilla. We'll ink that tree up one more time. Doesn't have to be perfect, and we're going to definitely leave a lot of that off of the edge. This is just so that your inside has a little more to it. I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to ink my envelope while I'm at it. That way we have a tree on the outside. There we go. Here's our inside sentiment, which we're going to ink up with that evening evergreen as well. All right, I just got a weird, bizarre thing, so I'm going to just continue on. Hopefully you guys are getting this. Line that up and stamp. Perfect. I'm going to set my evening evergreen out of the way and bring my soft succulent back out. And we're going to do the tree for the inside with that second fulfilling stamp. Just line that up. And then we'll do it again on the envelope. Okay. Ooh, I'm going to do that one again. See, it didn't come out just the way I want it. There we go. Now we just got a little more ink on that one, which is fine. Oh, I inked, oh, for heaven's sakes. Wouldn't you know it? I inked the envelope. So let's try this again. I was so precise on getting that. I thought that looked awfully big. So I'll just fix that later. All right, we'll get that out of the way. Get this out of the way. That way. I'm going to tilt this a little bit. Hopefully that gives you a better shot. There we go. Okay, so we're going to set this out of the way. I'm going to move this envelope so I don't accidentally try to use it. And now we're going to do some assembly work. So what I have here is I have a piece of 3 1/4, I think. And I did it by, looks like 5. I scored it at 4 1/4, and these dimensions will be on my blog tomorrow. And this is going to be my flap. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it down and give it a really good burnish so that we'll have it folded and ready to go. Okay. I have a piece of the Lights Aglow DSP that I cut at 3 1/8, I believe. No, this is at 3 inches by 4 inches. And then I'm adhering it to a piece of gold foil that's 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. I'm using some Stampin' Seal, and I'm just creating that nice little edge around that foil. Now I'm going to add that to our flap. Okay. Give it a nice good burnish. Now what I have is I have my frame. So the frame is a little bit larger than that 3 inch. So some of it's going to hang out, but that's fine. I am going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals that I got right before I started here. And I wish that I knew where my silicone mat was, but I don't. So what I'm going to do is be careful as I put these dimensionals on, and you'll see that they're hanging off the side. And the reason I'd like my silicone mat to be here is so that it wouldn't stick to the paper. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my inside frame on top of these dimensionals. So I'm going to get rid of these covers. Find the trash can. That's not where it's supposed to be. Do you guys ever find these dimensional pages all over your house? I found one on the dog the other day. No lie. She was running around. She had been upstairs in my room. See what I mean? How it's stuck to my mat. And if you had the silicone mat, it would just come right on up. So I'm going to be careful how I set my frame. Make sure I'm lining it up just so. And pressing it down. So you can see these dimensionals are hanging off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add 2 in the middle. And I don't need to put any on the sides because they're already there. right in my frame there. So there's the front piece. Now I played with putting a sentiment on it, and I put one on, I took one off, and I liked it without. I thought it was better without. Okay, now we're gonna do the inside track. This is another piece of Lights Aglow DSP. And because it's got silver within, or gold within the DSP, I thought the gold foil was perfect at kind of showcasing the paper. Okay, make sure we have a good clean edge on everything. And then we're gonna add our sentiment. Actually, we're gonna do this after we have everything together. So there's the second layer. We'll go ahead and add the Very Vanilla for the inside on the gold foil. Okay, there we go. So here's our layers as they go. So that's 1, 2, 3. We're just about done, and it looks so much more impressive than what it really is. Ooh, let's put our edges on here. So I cut this with gold foil with that framed set, and I'm just gonna add those. I'm gonna throw that glue away. But I came prepared tonight. I got a whole new one because I had a feeling that was gonna happen. All right. Now I'll have to be careful and not use too much here. So I'm just adding those to the corner of the DSP. And I'm using my tweezers just because they're not super large. I don't want a lot of glue on there, because if I put too much glue on there, it's gonna move around way more than what I want it to. And that gold foil has a tendency to do that. It has a tendency to have a mind of its own and kind of go off on its own. So we'll put this one down in this corner. I was just freaking out there for a minute. I only counted 3 more, and I was like, I double counted those right before I started this video just to make sure I had them all. But there's one that I didn't pull down, so we're good. All right. So I like these little corners. They make it look like it's a nice little frame job, and gold corners at Christmas time are perfect. So I had the card pretty much done, and I was like, I just need something else. So this is a perfect something else to add. They would work really well if you had an ink oopsie and you can't get it off and it's on the corners. You could easily add these little frames. You know, those seem to happen at the worst time, you know, after you got everything done. You've put in all the time and all the product, and then, oops, there it is. So this is just like an embellishment that would cover that up. All right, there we go. So now we've got layer 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna pull our card base out here. So this is just a standard 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock that I've scored at 5.5. And as usual, all these dimensions will be on my blog. If I missed any questions, I apologize. I will get back to them tomorrow, or this evening, I promise. So before we add anything, we are going to add our front flap. So I've scored it at 5.5 and folded in half. Got a really good burnish. And now I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to add Stampin' Seal. You could use tear tape here. You could use Seal Plus. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold this and line it up to the edge. And see, there it folds over right at the front. Okay, so we will take our inside, or our second layer. We're going to add some seal. I'm going to give it a little more right there because it didn't pop down there perfect. I'm going to line this up, making sure I'm getting those cute little edges to give just another layer of dimension. And now we can add our sentiment to that second layer. And I'm just doing that with Seal. And the reason that I did it second, or right before now, is because if we had done it before, we would have had to be careful about where we put that flap. So there we go. That's going to cover that up. And we're just about done. All right, so I'll come back and check on the comments that I missed. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I wanted to let you know I am planning on going live next week, but I'm going to Jacksonville on stage to meet up with some team members, and I'm super excited. But my plane's supposed to be here at 2 o'clock. If I plan on not being late, then I'll be delayed. So I'm planning on being here. I'm going to have everything ready ahead of time. I just want to make sure that, if I'm not here, there's a reason. Okay. All right. Last but not least. So on the original card, I used the Festive Pearls. So these are currently unavailable. So I decided to use some of these beautiful new pearl gold swirls that are available with the fitting florets. And they're nice. Oh, they're so pretty. And I thought they would look like nice, chunky, beautiful ornaments on our tree. So there we go. There's 5. Let's add 7. All right. So there's today's fun fold right here. 3 pages. I'll come back and make the envelope later because, well, we know what I did with the envelope. Thanks so much for joining me again this week. I appreciate it. And hopefully I'll be back with lots of news on all the wonderful things that I saw at On Stage. See you next Sunday here at 7 o'clock. Thanks.